Cameron Paddy is the referee. Another Super Saturday is underway on Fox League, starting again with NRLW. And let's see what the Roosters can do in this opening set. Their forwards, Maya Hill, Moana, Millie Boyle, the leaders through the middle. And it's Baxter with an early shift here to one of those players I mentioned. So Hill, Moana on to Millie Boyle. What sort of statement do they give us in the opening few sets, the Roosters, as they explore on the left through Olivia Koenig? 3-try assist for Olivia last week. Now back to the middle. A second run for Boyle, and that's the sort of tackle that Samaima Taufa, you'd imagine, will need for the 70 minutes today. Zahara Temera there as well. With an offload here, it was Keely Joseph to Hill Moana. And she'll take tackle 5.
Hold Marcus Samaima, wait! Go last.
And out for the completion. Kelleher goes high, straight down the ground towards Arpy Nichols, who makes the first catch for the afternoon. And Arpy Nichols caught a little high and getting a penalty as a result.
I'm excited to watch Arpy Nichols today. She's come back from World Cup last year, fullback, named fullback of that tournament. Come off a bit of a quieter NRLW season last season, and she's such a talented player, very confident. She just needs to work with those halves around her. So keep an eye on Arpy Nichols.
Yeah, Tessa Pollett just going up a little bit high there on Nichols. No Amber Hall out with that ankle injury for the season. And Pollett gives a little leg up for the Raiders coming out of their own end.
Yeah, a couple of changes, as it turns out, for the Roosters, but for the time being, it's the Raiders through Mackenzie Wiki, very close to the sideline, more than close, on top of it. A mistake by the Raiders invites trouble very early in this game.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Raiders, they had a great opportunity coming out of their own end. Only moments ago, given away from a penalty, and on play one, Wiki just forced into touch there. Millie Boyle and Taryn Aiken doing the job.
All right, play the ball.
With the aggression of the Roosters centres and wingers, they'll learn early, you know, not going anywhere near that sideline.
They'll have to be disciplined today, the Raiders, as Maya Hill Moana takes tackle 1. Now, Keely Joseph.
Just get a sense here that the Roosters might try and attack the right-hand side of the Canberra Raiders.
Big winners, game 1, the Roosters against Brisbane, 36-18. Kelleher to her outside, where Otessa Bula, there in jersey 11, has another carry. Boyle. Attracting 3 Raiders. And Keely Davis, the dummy half. Joseph, now Kelleher straightens. Jocelyn Kelleher. The grubber towards the in goal, too heavy. And back to the 20. 7 tackles up their sleeve. The Raiders hold on.
Yeah, obviously a little bit too much on the end of that kick by Keely Davis. I think a great option for the kick. They did seem like they were getting momentum. Probably could have ran it, but to get into the game, a great option, just not the right kick.
Well, Lara Pitt sideline. It's a very warm winter's day in the capital.
Absolutely gorgeous here, Maddie. We were prepared for much worse, but it is a sunny, beautiful day here in Canberra. The community out in force to get behind their brand new team. Plenty of support as well, sideline from the first grade. Men's side, the CEO, Don Ferner, Ricky Stewart's here, and a number of the NRL side have arrived nice and early to see some history made.
Yeah, great support for the NRLW team. Really embraced by the club as a whole. Across the NRL, it must be said, as the Raiders just a little sloppy to start this game, an error, some loose passing, and they'll need to improve quickly. Temora, and good tackle comes in from Maya Hill Moana on Sophie Holliman. The 2 props colliding.
5 and last. Lock in Marcus.
Tamaya Kelly Signs playing the ball. And they'll complete through the boot of Temera, kicking back across her body, finding the ground, and a kind bounce for Jamie Frazard, who gets a penalty offside Canberra.
It was Ashley Quinlan that's coming down far too quick and offside, as Frazard was able to get the ball back off the Tamara kick. And they were able to repel the Roosters early in this game, but if you continually ask the Roosters, who have such strike power left and right side of the field. They will make you pay at some stage. At the moment, the Raiders doing a really good job.
Don't go up before the
You
touch.
see Jess Surgis ruled out with that hamstring injury, Matty.
Let's hope it's only the one game that she's out for. Scans will reveal the answer to that as the week continues. So Maya Hill-Moana plays the ball. And Keely Joseph off such a big 2022 year. What does she have in store for us as 2023 NRLW unfolds? Hill-Moana again, a willing worker early on. Davis to Kelleher. Now Taryn Aitken numbers here, and Bula stopped on the spot. Shakaya Tungiai racing in off her wing to make the tackle, but too long on the tackle. It's Holly Mae Dodd, the offender.
Yeah, really good lead-up play from Taryn Aitken. Just gets on that swinging around and in support there, Koenig. But what about the defence out on the right-hand side? Exposed a few times last week, but Tungiai makes her first tackle a good one.
Sammy, you would have played with Shakaya Tungiai in your St George Illawarra days.
Yeah, I actually played with Shakaya Tungai well before the NRLW. She's been playing rugby league for a very long time. Took a season off and she's come back to play for the Raiders.
In great position, the Roosters. Hill-Moana again, angling her run at Hollyman. Options both sides. They come to the right. Baxter. Now Koenig. The ball onto the ground, and Jolie Morris had to, in the end, do a clean-up job there and lost all momentum in her run.
It's been a strong start. Hill-Moana.
Yeah. Davis. Now Kelleher. Long. Kelly. Again, Shakaya Tungai was up quickly, knowing she's in for a big assignment today. Aitken, the grubber, this one well weighted. It sits up, and the Raiders gets back into the field of play. Ash Quinlan.
Guys, I'm quite impressed with the Raiders.
Yep.
Their defence, their effort, their energy. I think the Roosters may have, preempted to score a little bit earlier in this game than they have been, and the Raiders are hanging on and doing a really good job.
The Raiders, Shael Robbins-Retty flirting with this sideline, and now Bartlett, two-try star from week one, driven backwards in the tackle.
We spoke to the coach in the pre-game, and he mentioned about the experience or the growth they would have got from last week's performance. A lot of these girls hadn't played in the NRLW before, as Taufa now looks to shift the ball a little bit. And they'll get a fair bit of confidence from that, Matty.
Yeah, good work from Tungiai too. Not just defensively, looking to get involved, and now the kick is fielded by Corbin Baxter at the back for the Roosters. The try scorer in that win last week against the Broncos. Kelly. Aitken for Bridie Parker through the middle of the ground. Keely Joseph again, working close to the ruck and taking the tackle from Quinlan. So plenty of time at this end of the field, but no points yet for the Roosters as Frazzard gets the ball away. Jolie Morris close to the line, and Morris in her third season as a Rooster Morris, but her first game of the campaign. Now Baxter, Aitken, the kick, along the ground again. Tungiai knocked it, then kicked it, and she gets it over the dead ball line.
Taryn Aitken really warming to the task at the moment. She had a run and a set-up play only moments ago. This time just pulling the strings, gets a repeat set. Well defended from the Raiders, who, as you spoke about, Sam, have really turned up defensively so far in this game. They're desperate in front of their home crowd and their first opportunity here at GIO.
Yeah, Darren Borthwick working the walkie-talkie. His team defending against the Roosters, who've completed their first 6 sets. They've had all the territory. And Koenig takes tackle one in good position again. You can see the possession advantage and plenty of possession for Maya Hill-Moana.
It's her 8th carry already in this game. She's come up with an error. Defended really well there. Some heavy contact over the top from Hollyman. But Helmoana, 8th carry in short succession.
Well, Sammy, who's taken the most out of the start of this game? The Roosters dominating territory and possession, but the Raiders not cracking.
Oh, they have to have some confidence about the amount of defence they've just had to go through. We haven't seen them really at all cross the halfway line, so they've defended the entire time. You have to take confidence out of starting your game like that. To me, the Roosters don't seem to be at their best just yet, but there's still a long way to go in this game. I'd love to see the Raiders, you know, a little bit better field position so they don't have to defend so hard.
Yeah, 33 more tackles already in this contest.
News just through, there's nearly 3,000 people in GIO Stadium for the kickoff to the NRLW game to be part of that Viking clap. So a great reception for rugby league fans in the capital. And here their team gets a penalty and they might get an opportunity in the Roosters half. Canberra beaten by Cronulla last week, 28-14. But it was a brave showing first out for this expansion team.
And a few girls that it was their very first NRLW game ever first rugby league game ever last week. So they'll take a bit of confidence out of that into this game.
Robbins Retty in the centres for the Raiders. Has the first run in the set. And they take a nice direct approach through Mona Lisa Soliola. Past an HIA to return to the field last week in Cronulla. Here's Hollyman.
That's a better option. Nice quick play of the ball.
Shante Temura. It goes through the co-captain Taufa to Zahara Temura. And the kick into the in-goal. Baxter work to do. Deep in the in-goal. And Corbin is tackled. And they force a goal line drop out the Raiders.
Yeah, 24 games in the NRLW. Zahara Temura was a play-through kick. With the winger up. Weighted absolutely perfect. They've been under all sorts of pressure at the other end of the field defensively. Their first opportunity, they roll up this end, they get a repeat set. Really nice play.
The 5'8" for the Raiders, Zahara Temura, mentioned by Corey there, the most capped NRLW player in history. And playing with her 4-year younger sister, Shante Temura, the hooker today at the Raiders.
Isabel, get up!
Strong defence from Isabel Kelly. Zahara Temura for Taufa, who's been in the Canberra system for a few months, even before the NRLW pre-season started, working in with the Raiders. And now Kelly signs. Product of Kempsey, a 28-year-old, in her second NRLW campaign. Through the middle for the Raiders. Quinlan to Temura. She takes the tackle from Boyle. In great position here. The Raiders angled their run towards the posts. And now Quinlan just had a little look and put it down and lets the Roosters off.
Yeah, some really good lead-up play from the Raiders, but it was just an error that relieved a bit of pressure there. Anytime that they get a quick play of the ball, I'd like to see the Raiders just put the ball under their arm and really take the space. They're still looking to play some set plays. If the best play you have is the one right in front of you, just really take that. They got some good quick players in around that middle third.
As the Roosters come out of their 20, I'll just read through some numbers that illustrates why they're pronounced favourites for this competition. Here's Corbin Baxter. In the team, 11 grand final winners at NRLW level. 7 multiple grand final winners. A penalty here to the team I'm talking about. On top of all that, 7 players from the reigning Dally M Team of the Year, 7 Origin incumbents and 6 World Cup finalists. Sammy, it's a stacked team, isn't it?
Oh, is there anyone left to fill the other teams, Maddie? No, I know these girls, you know, they're bought in or have already bought in the previous seasons to what the Roosters club offers. It's a great, you know, from experience, a great club to be a part of, and that goes a long way. Culture goes a long way in football.
Raiders NRL team here early to watch their NRLW outfit run around. Boyle. Zach Wolford with an important role against the Knights later on this afternoon. Davis. Here's Kelleher. Showing it once, now backs to the inside play for Aitken. And she's wrapped up by Quinlan. Olivia Kernick. Frazard was waiting on the outside. Kernick goes it alone.
Excellent.
And she's bent backwards at the line. Frazard passes out a dummy half. Baxter. And they'll have a crack from close range. Pani Hopewati up there in jersey 15. Aiken. It's another grubber, another well-weighted grubber. Arpy Nichols escorted over the dead ball line by Isabel Kelly.
She's in great touch at the moment, Taryn Aiken. Only moments ago she was there on the far left side. She swung round to this right-hand side to make up the extra number. Got great spatial awareness, anticipation of the game, understands her role perfectly.
Taryn Aiken, 4 years at Brisbane, now in her first as a Rooster. And here's Grace Kemp. Some fresh legs being sent on by Canberra coach Darren Borthwick. A short goal line dropout. It's got a result. And that's why the Raiders are celebrating. Jamie Frazard puts it down. Canberra will get the ball back.
Yeah, quite a good option from Zahara Tamara. I thought they were going to go for, a longer kick. They've been defending their line for quite a long time now, but it's paid off for them. Unfortunately for Jamie Frazard, bit of a knock on there. All in the favour of the Canberra Rays. Let's see if they can get it down their end of the field now, because they were looking good despite the error from Ashley Quinlan. So maybe some smart play from Zahara Tamara. Early kick again. Let's see what happens.
Looked like the leap from Robbins Reddy might have spooked Frazard a little bit, and a strong run here from Wiki again towards the sideline. This time she hits the ground in safety. Temora just turning dot underneath. Holly May, one of several Lionesses to be playing in the NRLW out of the England national team. Quinlan. And now Soliola. It's the leg drive going. Onto the field, Kemp.
That's a battle there, isn't it? In the middle, Millie Boyle and Grace Kemp. Grace Kemp about 6'3".
From Harden, she'd have a big support contingent, no doubt, at GIO Stadium today. And it's now Dodd again. Drags the defence with her. Temora puts it in the air, looking for a flying support player, and there to make the catch. Corbin Baxter does well under pressure from Tungiai. Good rugby league. Now Bridie Parker's wrapped up.
Yeah, obviously being challenged during the week, that right-hand side of the Canberra Raiders. They let in 5 tries last week against the Sharks, but defensively have really come with an intent against the Roosters, led by Tungiai.
Kelly. Pani Hopewati. Member of this famous footballing family, Pani, as the kick comes from Kelleher. A good strike, long down the ground. Arpy Nichols knew the potential and was in great position. And Nichols takes tackle 1.
Both teams just starting to try and arrest some sort of field position. The Raiders done a terrific job defensively early in this game, as now Grace Kemp up over the advantage line. And for the Roosters, if they thought they were just going to turn up here this afternoon and get the job done, it hasn't turned out that way, as we see Samaima Taufa again getting busy.
You won't see her work rate change at any stage during the 70 minutes. She is tireless. The co-captain Taufa. Hollyman playing the ball. Shante Temora to her sister. A torpedo bomb. What a strike. Corbin Baxter makes the catch. More of that, please. I'm sure Darren Borthwick, the Canberra Raiders coach, is saying the same.
Well, that was straight out of the Matty Burton playbook there. Absolute silky off the boot there from Temora. Equally as good was Baxter.
And now look at the defence. Dodd in there along with Soliola. They're getting better as the game goes on. No easy meters for the Roosters or for Jolie Morris playing the ball now. Pani Hopewati. Could you strike him like that, Semi?
Absolutely not. I was going to paint myself a pretty picture then, but no, I was hard out trying to catch those. But, you know, where was the kick pressure then? There's no doubt in my mind that would be something that John Strange says. Those 1%ers, those little effort areas.
Aiken. This time kicking high and long. She's had some great short kicks. That's not a very good long kick. Always looking heavy. It bounces hard. And they gift Canberra a restart at their 20-metre line.
The kicking game of Zahara Tamara today has been amazing. When that girl is on, she's really on. And her kicking game has got the Canberra Raiders out of a bit of trouble today.
Shakaya Tungiai playing predominantly on the right wing, but she's popping up everywhere. As I say that, she stayed down, picking up some concern in that most recent hit up. Shante Temara for Robin Ferretti. Soliola's got no room. But she's got it away in time, and Shante Temara, they get out of jail there, the Raiders.
Well, there was an opportunity down this left edge, but the winger wasn't there. Soliola extremely well to keep the ball in.
It's a good run.
Strong. Temara. This time taking the line on. She's a strong 5'8". It's a real feature of her game, her running game. There's Quinlan. Rubbers and chases. Gets through the line legally, and Frazard cleans up for the Roosters. The fast feed of Jamie Frazard.
Yeah, probably not the right option there from Ashley Quinlan. That was a short side play. That was a 4-on-3. Marker had to run late to get there to make up the numbers. Ash Quinlan's got some speed. Might have been a better option to run that then.
You see Keely Joseph come from the field, and Shorten Burton go on for her first football of the afternoon. Strong carry from Kelleher, and she gets the ball away to Burton. The fresh player out there.
You see just a little bit of fatigue starting to set in through the middle. Is now Pani up over the advantage line with a strong carry. Made a real difference since coming off the bench.
Tongan international, Pani Hopewadi. Burden there at dummy half now. Keely Davis for Aiken, who goes high. Out towards the wing of Tungiai. Had a little bobble, but she gets it back safely and goes straight to Arpy Nichols. Nichols across the ground. Can she link? Yes. Robbins Retti spots a few more metres. Spins away from one. Spins for too long. Now her head spinning as she's taken into touch. And this has been a problem for the Raiders early in the game. On both sides of the field, flirting too dangerously with the sidelines.
I like the option. I like the option of having an opportunity. Arpy Nichols just returning the ball with interest. It was a beautiful kick from Taryn Aiken, catching it only millimetres off the try line. They come out this left edge. They fancied themselves with some pace before the Roosters come across in cover.
So Hopewadi, the completion's very tidy. The Roosters 11 from 13 so far. And the Raiders not far behind. Kelleher bringing Boyle onto the ball. Burton. Now Aitken through the hands this time, and it's Tungiai racing up on Kelly, and she's forced the error. Shaq Tungiai is menacing Isabel Kelly this afternoon.
Absolutely inspirational defence from Tungiai out on that right-hand side. There's no more stronger ball runner close to the line than Isabella Kelly. They come out, and Tungiai makes the decision to come outside in. Forces the error.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, Corey. She is so dangerous, Isabel Kelly, especially that close to the line. She's powerful, and Shakaya Tungai gave her no room or no space to be able to get that fend up. That's so incredibly powerful as well. So well done from Shakaya Tungai, but knowing Isabel Kelly, she's going to come back with a bit of a vengeance. So let's just keep watching for the next 10.5 minutes.
Maddie Bartlett. Here is the contact again. The elbow, the bumper, just raised slightly, and after that, Shaq Tungiai just nursing a collarbone / sternum. I thought she actually picked up the problem in an earlier carry, but maybe there was contact there from Kelly that aggravated the complaints.
Could have been a number of things, Maddie. She's been everywhere today.
Josh Papali'i ready to lead The Raiders forward against the Knights in the game to follow this one as Temora kicks from well within the 40, looking for a 40-20. Tungiai kicks the ball ahead and chases. Now back there, Baxter tackled in goal. It was going to be a 40-20. It could have been a try, and it ends up a goal line dropout.
You can see there from Tungiai what it means. The inspiration. She come up with a huge play only moments ago. This play here, she's putting down. She gets the right foot back to the ball. And it was only Corbin Baxter and her field position, her play in desperation, that was able to get back for the Roosters, who are under all sorts of pressure. Look at this.
Aren't they competing on absolutely everything? Their kick returns, they're spreading it to try and get around them.
Well, this first game at home with the crowd that's turned out means something to the Raiders. Wiki driven backwards by Kelly and Aitken, and it shows for the Raiders. Now Hollyman, the ex-Brisbane Bronco. Temora takes the line. Zahara Temora close to providing us with first points. Here's Shante to Hollyman.
That's a great tackle.
Again. Keely Davis it was, most responsible for the stop, and now the kick across the ground, back there on the ball. Jolie Morris tackled in goal.
A couple of really big plays from the Tricolours. First, Millie Boyle. The second one through Keely Davis, absolute try saver. The Roosters are on the ropes here at the moment. The Raiders growing in confidence. Tamara absolutely orchestrating things beautifully for the home side.
Gosh, they seem in sync. The kicks, the chasers know the kick's on. I can constantly see Ashley Quinlan speaking to her left edge. The Canberra Raiders are very in sync this week.
The kick taken by RP Nichols, who goes straight to Grace Kemp. It was a bullish start by the Roosters, but here come the Raiders after handling that. Quinlan with Burton over the top of her. Shante Temora. Here's Grace Kemp again. Grace Kemp says, I've scored. The first NRLW Raiders try in Canberra, delivered by Grace Kemp, the 22-year-old out of Harden. Look at the smile.
Well, 6'3", Grace Kemp, big red, comes off the bench and absolutely makes her impressions known here. Had a nice little offload, create a bit of second phase and instability in the defensive line, and then backs it up with a carry. The Raiders are able to cross the home side. The fans have gone nuts.
You could feel that one building. Smart play prior to that. Nice little kick in them from Zahara Tamara. Everyone seems to be doing their jobs for the Canberra Raiders. A well-rewarded try, this one. What an athlete. Strong, powerful. When you're getting over the top of the Roosters' middles, that shows your athleticism.
And how happy is she? An NRLW rookie who chose the Raiders over Rugby. And I wonder whether she knew when she started the pre-season, of course she didn't, that she would score the Raiders' first try at home.
Yeah, outstanding. Well, down in the pre-game, right on ground level, and Grace Kemp, as I mentioned, she's about 6'3". She's an imposing figure.
That's why multiple sports are so interested in her. But Grace Kemp is a Raider and a try scorer, and she's loving life. The crowd finding voice early at GIO Stadium. NRLW in the NRL to start your Super Saturday on Fox League. Zahara Temora, the most experienced NRLW player there is, knocks over the conversion. It is 6-0 in favour of the home team.
Yeah, Grace Kemp is someone the Raiders were so excited to have picked up in their massive recruitment spree leading into their first season. All of her footy, it has been played in rugby. This is just her second game of rugby league, and they're just so excited to the huge potential in her. So physical, as Corey said, enormous, so very hard to stop, as you saw there.
The ball just coming a little loose on grounding, but referee Cameron Paddy had a good look at it. Sideline officials assisting him. Green lights for the green machine. And Grace Kemp off the interchange and into the action as a try scorer. What a confidence boost for the Raiders.
Outstanding, outstanding performance so far from the Raiders. Defensively, have come with a real intent. Talking to the coach in the pre-game, that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted his team to really dial up defensively what they're able to do in front of their home fans.
The 8th carry from Hollyman, backed up by Holly Mae Dodd. Now Temora just rolls it off her fingers for Wiki. Mackenzie, one of the many rookies in this team. Now Quinlan finding Tara Reinke on the move. In fact, it was Mona Lisa Soliola. Ball comes free. Penalty, though, to Canberra.
Yeah, late in the tackle count. Also, after points for the Raiders, beautiful outside inline from Soliola. And the Raiders absolutely growing in confidence here.
And the right call, a clear effort to strip the ball. Multiple players in the tackle. And with just over 5 minutes left in the half, can they score a second try and go to the lead with go to the break with a double-figure lead, Canberra? Barnes out there in jersey 14, giving it to Soliola. And now Kemp, the try scorer. Another good run. Kemp with the offload for Taufa. Temora. Grubbers weighed up all the options, looks heavy, Baxter plays at it, and Corbin is going to be forced over the dead ball line. Canberra will get the ball back.
Yeah, and the blowtorch is being applied to the Sydney Roosters defensively. And again, Grace Kemp just taking it upon herself. Wonderful, just picks out the smaller player, goes straight at her, beautiful offload. That's her second for the afternoon before Temora, who's been exceptional in this first half.
If the coach is a reflection of the team, then the Raiders are upbeat because Darren Borthwick barely sitting in this first half, barking into the walkie-talkie, sensing a shock lead here. Keritina Matua out there in jersey 16 for the Raiders, but this is Samaima Taufa. Kemp taking them on again. Drawing 3 defenders. Barnes for Quinlan, Soliola. Almost lost the ball in the tackle of Frezard. Barnes back to Quinlan. Temora controlling things nicely as she just hands it off for Matua to go up the middle. They want it on the left. Barnes takes them on, and Emma Barnes will be held up and then forced backwards.
Yeah, they hang on there, the Roosters. They've got a real passive defensive line at the moment, particularly on goal. There's a lot of fatigue starting to set in. And Burton. Barnes out of dummy half. There's some now strong defence from the home side.
What about the defence?
They've got the Roosters rattled here, absolutely rattled.
If I told you, Corey, that Canberra would hold the Roosters to 0 in the first half, still time to go, but you would have been shocked, no doubt.
Well, we spoke pre-game about the strike the Roosters have, but it doesn't matter if you've got strike, if you've got an intent and a willingness to turn up and commit defensively. That's what the Raiders are doing here.
Here's Pani Hopewati. Smothered by 3 Raiders defenders. Tuila Fotumwala off the bench for John Strange, the first game of the season. As the kick is a long one and the reach of Api Nichols does the job. Can she link with Chakai Tangiai? Nichols goes it alone and takes the tackle from Otessa Bule. Adam Elliott, the former Raider, back as a Newcastle Knight. What does he do against his former club this afternoon?
Just keeping a close eye on fiancée Millie Boyle.
Absolutely. So the Raiders have kept a close eye on Boyle as well. 5 runs, 37 metres is modest by her lofty standards, Corey. Temora has to surrender. Grabbed by Kernick and Hopewati. So Quinlan gets the kick away, had to rush it and just lobs it into the corner. Baxter watches it bounce off the line. Flag was up. And Robbins Retti says, hang on. I think I score a try there.
Well, love to have a look at this. The touch judge was in perfect position. The ball took a horrible bounce. Did it get to the sideline?
Yes, it did easily.
Corbin Baxter, very cool and collected there. It's Fazard now, jinking.
So 60 seconds to navigate here for the Raiders to cap a fantastic first half defensively. Can the Roosters go long range and level it up at the break? This is Keely Davis.
Survivor, get up!
5 years a Dragon, her first as a Rooster. Aitken chipping and chasing. Taryn Aitken backs herself. It's knocked on by Tungiai.
Knock on Canberra.
Well, if they pack the scrum here, they'll get an opportunity, the Roosters. Taryn Aitken saw a little bit of space, come up with a chip over the top. Tungiai did a great job to put herself back in position. In the Roosters, 15 seconds remaining.
Keep your positions.
So Cameron Paddy calls time
Clock's still
off. Let's
going.
have a look at this
Let's
for
go.
offside.
Keep coming in, Raiders.
Well, maybe Wiki gets in behind
Let's go,
where the
pack
ball
scrum,
was
10
caught,
seconds, let's
was
go.
touched.
Pack.
The time might make it largely irrelevant. They'll get the ball back. Would have been a long-range shot had the referee adjudicated otherwise. And here's Kelleher.
They need to set up for a play. There's only 1 second remaining in the
It's
first half.
Pani Hopawati just taking a hit up. Time should expire before the play the ball is complete, but there's no siren. And now you hear it. And Shorten Burton is stopped. And the Canberra Raiders will go to the break in front.
And what a first half she was able to have in front of her home fans.
If she can double those first half numbers, it will be quite the performance. Tuila Fotumwala off the interchange for the Roosters. Shorten Burton starting the second half as well. Canberra forced the Roosters into 4 dropouts. The Raiders only missed 9 tackles in the first half, but they'll start the second with the ball. And it's taken by Temora, who goes straight to the hard-running Kerahetina Matua. What a way to return from the sheds at half-time. The last words, Sammy, of Darren Borthwick must have been, don't rest on your laurels.
No, absolutely not. And what a great return of the ball we've seen there. A player that has played for the Cook Islands in the Rugby League World Cup and was so hard to handle. Great recruitment from the Canberra Raiders.
Matua on the surge as Temora drifts across the ground and goes to Samaima Taufa. 3 years as a Rooster, Samaima, 2 at Parramatta. And here she is to co-captain the Raiders in their inaugural season. Temora through Quinlan. Arpy Nichols, dangerous in the fullback role. Arpy Nichols, straight through. Here's try number 2. Shael Robbins-Ratti running off Arpy Nichols. What a way for Canberra to start the second half.
Well, they
brilliant.
Well and truly picked up where they left off for the Canberra Raiders. A wonderful set coming out of their own end. Incredible scenes here at GIO. It started right from the kickoff. A beautiful run from Matua. Just gets between defenders. And off the back of that, Temora just went to work. Played back on the inside. Come out this left-hand side, out the back. Wonderful combination. Nichols, who's had a terrific game, just gets back off the left foot. Disperses of Keller. And all of a sudden, the Roosters, straight after half-time, 10-0 behind, kick the cup.
Yeah, I think it was the first time that we've seen the Canberra Raiders, cause a bit of havoc on those edges. They tried to spread the ball nice and early in the first half, but, it sort of looked like they were going a little bit sideways before they went forward. Obviously something they've picked up at half-time and tried to improve on, and certainly have straight away. We spoke earlier about Arpy Nichols, how talented she is. She's an absolute threat with the ball, and the players around her are well aware of that, being there in support to go over and score a try again for the Raiders.
You make a really good point, Sam. In the first half, the Raiders did tend to go a little bit lateral before going forward. And just towards the back half of that, they played right down the corridors. And once again here, they had a nice run to start the set. They played down the corridor before then shifting out of that left-hand side.
to break 100 NRLW points. The first player to do so. Flags are up. Zahara Temera, most capped NRLW player, and now the highest scorer. Whatever Darren Borthwick said at half-time, Lara Pitt will be even happier about now.
Yeah, and he just loved the intent of his side in the first half. His message simply was, we need to back that up out here in the second half. He's certainly very happy with their defence. Wants there to be a bit more of a focus on the way they finished their sets. From John Strange for the Roosters, he just wanted harder contact. He also said they need to get back to basics, that the halves need to link up and take control.
Time it!
Thank you, Lara. Well, I've got some work to do now, the Roosters. Let's get through this kick-off that's taken by Temera again, and Matua has the chance to run again. This time they get up in a grill a little bit better.
Number one, Raiders, HIA.
Okay, Arpi Nichols is being sent for a head injury assessment. You can only assume for contact in that run to set up the try. We followed the ball. Was there some sort of collision for Arpi in that try assist?
Yeah, you'll have to have a look in the replay. This is huge for the Raiders. Arpi Nichols has had a terrific game so far. Here we see here. Just gets rid of the pass, and does she get... Well, it's very hard to tell off that angle there.
It almost looks more so when her head hits the ground rather than another player coming into contact with her.
As she was falling, I wonder whether her head made contact with the shoulder of the Roosters' defence. So it's been spotted by the injury surveillance bunker, and as a result, Sophie Holliman...
It's not quite a like for like, isn't it? No, Sophie Holliman.
Lose fullback, send out a prop. That's the modern game, Corey.
Well, you can see Tungiai has gone back to fullback. She's played that position before, but Holliman, you would think, would still stay in that middle third of the field.
And they'll put a starting middle out onto an edge.
Did you ever get shifted to fullback, Corey?
No, that's
it's for the best
one.
What is the most exotic position you played, Corey? Man in the middle normally.
Hooker.
Got sent into hooker. Did you actually... Oh, no, put down by Kemp. And Canberra. Now, this is an important period because they've lost Arpi Nichols. They've made a mistake. They've given possession back to the Roosters after a stoppage in their momentum. They need to be careful.
And Sam, you know better than any, particularly when a fullback, what you're able to do defensively and how that may affect the Raiders.
Yeah, absolutely. You are the extra number defensively. Obviously, communication is a really big thing. Telling your forwards who most of the time are doing all the hard work, and you get to be their voice and tell them where to go. But you also are that extra number in defence just to take the bit of pressure off them.
So the defensive start here good by Canberra. Millie Boyle watching from the sideline. 5 carries, 37 metres in her first stint, Corey.
Yeah, Millie Boyle, knowing her well over a number of years, she won't be happy with that first stint, particularly the fact that her team is 12 behind. Last week ran for up over 200 run metres, Millie Boyle. They'll be looking to get their starting middles back on any time now.
Just a little lost on that play as well. Kelleher takes the tackle. And here's Tuila Fotumwala.
Yeah, the Roosters seem to be a little bit lost.
No, it's not quick on foul play.
Penalty here for the Roosters, but the penalties seem to get a little bit lost in their communication when both halves sweep around to the same side. They're very good when they're split on their left and right. When they tend to link up, the communication goes missing.
Pani Hopawati. So high contact, the reason for the penalty. Foul play means no quick tap. Canberra set their defensive line and look to muscle up again. Aitken showing it once. Now Kelleher out for Bridie. Parker to the sideline and over it. Mackenzie Wiki gets one back in the first half. Those roles were reversed. Mackenzie Wiki goes whack and Parker goes into touch.
Yeah, that's really dumb football from the Roosters. They've only just got the ball back. And immediately they come out to this sideline. It's man on man. There's not much doing. And the defence of the Raiders, as we saw in the first half, very easily picked off there.
Yeah, I agree with Corey there. The Roosters seem to be loving this sweep play with Taryn Aiken getting really deep and coming out nice and wide, but they need to square up and straighten up in the middle of the field first to be able to play out the back.
You can see what they're trying to do, particularly with Matamua out in the centres. You know, Isabella Kelly obviously got enormous amounts of talent and speed if she can get on the outside, but you need to do it in the right way.
Mackenzie Wiki, her dad could whack during 311 NRL games, 55 New Zealand internationals. And this week he said, it's all about Mackenzie Wiki. As they attack on the other side of the ground now, the Raiders. The other centre, Robbins-Reti playing the ball. Quinlan for Zahara Temera to put it through the hands. Tungiai in that fullback role, while Nichols is HIA. And there's been a mistake in the play the ball. So just a couple of errors creeping into Canberra here.
Scrum.
Yeah, certainly making it hard for themselves with a couple of errors in the last 2 sets with the ball. But they haven't been shy to defend this game, so they start again. They're going to pack the scrum and back into another set of defence, which they seem to have been doing a lot this game.
Good to see the drums banging early. We had the Viking clap earlier. If you've joined us late, this is a shock scoreline to Canberra because the Roosters were unbeaten minor premiers in the most recent season. They are clear favourites this year, and they're off a big round 1 win against the Broncos, but they're down 12-0. As Shorten Burton goes to Pani Opawadi, who puts it down, and now the Roosters return favour with a mistake.
Yeah, they are showing absolutely no respect to their opposition at the moment, the Roosters. They are capitulating. They've only just received the ball back, looking to offload here through the bench player there in Burton. I mean, they need the ball in hand, and they just haven't had it. When they have had it, they've just thrown it away.
Is that a team under pressure, Sammy?
I'm sorry, Matt, I'm still stuck on what capitulating means.
Quinlan, they go to Zahara Temera.
Don't ask me to spell it.
Barnes for Taufa. Aggressive in every carry, chewing off as many metres as she can. Part of every NRLW season so far. Sophie Holliman, forced backwards by Fotu Moala. Barnes runs out of dummy half. Nice and direct. 8 or 9 metre scurry. And forcing Quinlan into the dummy half roll. Now Temera, but Taufa again. So nothing flash about this set so far, but it's played to a purpose. Temera under pressure. Oh, big contact. Racing up, Isabel Kelly. Nails the advancing Canberra Raider, and how. Watch it again. It's Tungiai. Just levelled.
That's a big tackle from the experienced centre out on the left-hand side. The crowd baying for a penalty that it may have gone high, but that is heavy contact. Needed to be made. There was 2-man overlap out this right-hand side. Then the Roosters, they need to get their starting middles on ASAP.
Yeah, Isabel Kelly loves to defend on that edge. She will jam in. Usually you would have your winger in jamming with you, but she was sort of left behind there. So let's see if the Canberra Raiders pick up on that.
Mighty Millie back onto the field for the Roosters. What does she deliver in this second stint? Koenig plays the ball. And we see Hill Moana go forward for the Roosters. Burton for Aitken. Baxter. Kelly sends it out to Parker, and Wiki is waiting for her. Aitken on the last, goes high, end over end, and waiting at the back, Tungiai, and she's stopped by Kelly. So they meet again, Kelly and Tungiai.
Number 10. 10. HIA number 10.
Sophie Holliman being sent for a head injury assessment.
Well, they are certainly throwing everything they have in their defensive efforts towards the Roosters. That's 2 HIAs now.
Head clash on Hill Moana, Sammy, and Sophie Holliman played both Origin games for Queensland, so they've lost their fullback RP Nichols HIA. Now the starting Origin front rower Sophie Holliman. Lara Pitt will check on both of those players as their reports come through.
They don't seem to have lost any confidence, even though 2 of their gun players have had to leave the field. They still seem confident. And we were just down on the field earlier speaking to the team, and they were saying the cohesion in the team. There's 12 of these players that don't have family here. They don't have friends here. They've relocated. They only have each other, and it's really benefited them as a football team.
There are 9 recruits from other NRLW teams last season in the Canberra lineup. 7 debutants, 1 returning after a stint away from rugby league. So that's the compilation that is the 2023 Raiders NRLW team. Grace Kemp, one of the debutants, over halfway. Barnes to Temora. Seems to have a lot of time, doesn't she? Zahara Temora, it's a tricky kick, knocked on by Corbin Baxter the second time. A kick from Zahara Temora has asked questions. Corbin got the first one, not the second.
Yeah, straight away, Tungiai and also Samaima Taufa go back and congratulate Temora. The first half was an absolute peach. This one was a little bit different, but Corbin Baxter under all sorts of pressure. You can see there the coach, Strange, rubbing his head.
And you said it before, Matt, she has so much time to kick that ball. If I'm Corbin Baxter now, I am screaming for a little bit of kick pressure on that. Too much time with the ball. She shouldn't have that amount of time to get her hands in position to be able to kick such a difficult one to catch.
The voice of one fullback feeling for another fullback. As Corbin Baxter gives Canberra great possession here. Kemp, can she wind up? Racing in, Otessa Bullet made sure that didn't happen. Here's Quinlan. Quinlan asking questions now, offloading. Barnes for Taufa. Samaima Taufa, the co-captain, crashes over right underneath the crossbar. Canberra get a third. They go further ahead.
And that's what they all want from their leader, Samaima Taufa. We always speak about how hard she works, how many metres she eats. But check out her footwork when they come back to her on this line. Same from Ashley Quinlan. Great speed, great footwork, keeping it alive, and the confidence and footwork of Samaima Taufa to back herself and go underneath the sticks. Canberra Raiders, where have you come from?
Well, the Canberra Raiders, they are just building in confidence. We've seen off the back of a defensive display in the first half. Unbelievable. But this here is some great now. So just have a look at the defensive play here from the Roosters. Straight away, they are sideways on their own line, and already Quinlan, just left foot bang, finds a little bit of space back on the inside. Taufa again, defensive line going sideways. I spoke about it in the first half, about a passive defensive side. They haven't fixed it up at all, and Quinlan has made them pay.
Yeah, you're right there, Corey. On the left-hand side of the field, their defensive line got straight up. Isabel Kelly pushed her side straight up, a couple of steps forward. The right-hand side were a bit more passive and took a couple of steps sideways instead of up. So, yeah, not sort of looking as one team in their defensive efforts.
Zahara Temora makes it 18-0. Who would have thought we would have had to raise this stat? The Sydney Roosters' greatest NRLW defeat was way back in the inaugural season 2018, beaten by 22 against then Premiers Brisbane. Well, they're down 18-0. And Samaima Taufa, look at all the red, white and blue, and the only green jumper in frame goes straight through the middle.
Yeah, some very ordinary goal line defence. I mentioned about them going sideways. It's just been really poor execution from the Roosters, who in the warm-up looked exceptional. As Maya Hill Moana goes off for a HIA and back play.
Timeout run here.
So what does John Strange do? His side down 18-0. And what will be, if it stays this way, the boil-over of a very young NRLW season so far. This game 7 of 48 in NRLW 23. There's more action to come later this afternoon. St George Illawarra against Parramatta at Wynn Stadium from just after 3 o'clock. Catch that on Fox Sports. Now a long ball from Quinlan. We're not done yet.
No.
As we see more running from Robbins Retty. Here's Grace Kemp. Kemp up over 100 run metres now. There's Temora. Again, has time to consider all options. It's a wobbly kick off the boot, but again, it's going to cause problems. Baxter retreats, fields it on her line, and Corbin Baxter, well, she can't get out of her danger zone. Emma Barnes leads the chase. And now Jamie Frizzard. Now Isabel Kelly.
Yeah, and that try from Samaya Matau for all the more amazing for the Raiders, given they've got 2 in the HIA bin at the moment. I can tell you, Arpie Nichols has passed and she'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Thank you very much, Lara. As we see Bridie Parker running out of room, not for the first time today. So Arpie Nichols about to return to the Raiders, who are up 18-0 and are about to get the ball back.
They've got the penalty, however. It was a late hit on Taryn Aiken. Unfortunately, we just see there, Taryn Aiken had passed the ball, absolutely collected by Marua.
Yep. Samaima, 16.
Awkward head.
Well, this is
Contact
huge.
with the ground
This
for
is
Bridie
huge in the
Parker.
context of the game here. If Marua is to go to the sim bin for a late hit on Aiken,
This unnecessary contact after pass is going to be on report. We're having a penalty over here.
So just on report, Keratina Matua. She's made a presence felt. Look at it again. Ooh.
he's lucky to stay on the field there, Matua.
We spoke to the coach of the Canberra Raiders earlier in the day about, you know, were these girls that haven't played much football intimidated by this, you know, some say stacked Roosters side? Certainly not. Now, I know that wasn't a fair tackle or a fair hit, but there is absolutely no intimidation factor from these Canberra Raiders towards the Sydney Roosters.
That's a point well made, Sammy. The way they've played, they have not been intimidated from the kickoff, when the Roosters applied plenty of pressure over the first 15 minutes. Aitken, long, here's Kelly, outside now, Bridie Parker diving for the corner. This time there's enough room. Bridie gets the Roosters first, and there's still plenty of time to go in this one.
Yeah, 18 and a half minutes remain on the clock, and the Roosters are able to cross down this left-hand side. Once again, it's through Bridie Parker. The right-hand edge defence of the Raiders tested all afternoon. They've stood tall. Taryn Aiken has started to really impose herself in the game. Marua just makes the wrong decision defensively. Shaq Tungai unable to come across. Temera also.
Yeah, for sure, and I like it when Isabel Kelly just holds the ball and squares up a little bit. She's such a threat. We've said that over and over again this game. She's such a threat with the ball. Instead of trying to run on the out and creating no space for Bridie Parker, she just stands up a little bit, stays square, keeps the defenders on her. A nice little pass to Bridie Parker, who goes over. Gosh, she's got some pace, Bridie Parker. Back after an ACL injury. She's lost nothing.
Huge kick coming up from Kelleher.
That's how you want your wingers to finish. Bridie Parker, she played in 3 grand finals, losing a couple before winning the 2021 premiership. Of course, there would have been a 5th season in there, but as you mentioned, the ACL set her back, Sammy, and there'll have to be a restart here for Jocelyn Kelleher as the ball falls off the very appropriate pink kicking tee.
Look pretty, play pretty.
It's quite a strong breeze blowing across the field. You can see Kelleher, the ribbon in her hair.
So to make it 2 converted tries, the difference. Right on top of the western sideline, Jocelyn Kelleher. She kicked 4 from 7 last week. What's she going to give us today? Dragging it to the left of the target. So 18-4. The margin stays beyond 2 converted tries, but there's still more than 17 to play after Bridie Parker got the Roosters on the board.
Well, you just think that if they can get one, the Roosters, and get a little bit of confidence, they may be able to get a few more. They come down this left-hand side, executed much better. Taryn Aiken, some speed over the advantage line. Isabel Kelly doing the rest, beautifully held up her opponent. There's a nice, healthy crowd, continues to pour in here at GIO.
Supporting women in league round, all these fans. There were nearly 3,000 in GIO at kickoff. 5,000 at half-time. And we'll finish with about 10,000 watching the back end of this NRLW game live. Hope you're enjoying it. If you're watching on Fox League or KO, we bring you every game of NRLW live, ad-free in play. Baxter, long, Aitken, out to Kelly again. They'll go back towards the wing that worked for them a moment ago, but this time Parker goes without the ball.
Straight away, straight to their strike. Kelly really starting to get more involved in this game. Such a tackle buster. She can blow the game wide open.
And then back to Boyle, and now Davis out of dummy half. Are they starting to find their groove, the Roosters? They started from a long way back at 18-0 down, and now Burton goes without the ball. And Canberra just inch closer to victory.
Well, it's been the tail of the tape all afternoon for the Roosters. Haven't looked in sync. The communication at different times has been down. They're building nicely there. Once again, they had some ruck speed, and then they just get it horribly wrong.
It can be a problem when you know how good you can be.
Yep.
They played so well last week. They've got so many good players, and sometimes when you come off the back of such a strong win, you overlook all the small things that need to happen leading up to scoring those points. Quite the opposite role. The Raiders coming off a loss and so many errors and not playing so well last week. It's almost worked in their favour for this game.
My apologies to Shorten Burton. It was Lexi Kirawee putting it down. The red ribbon fooled me. Lexi making her NRLW debut, called into the 17 because of the injury to Amber Hall. So go well, Lexi Kirawee. But for the time being, it's the Raiders running at them, the Roosters.
How good has Grace Kemp been this afternoon? Up over 110 run metres. That's her fourth offload. She's come up with a try.
This time catching and passing for Taufa and straight through. Look at the Raiders run through Tara Reinke. Shante Temura to Zahara, the kick off the leg of the Roosters, and Taryn Aiken is off and running. She has Isabel Kelly in support. Taryn Aiken, with those pink boots working overtime, will run the length. Taryn Aiken scores the Roosters' second try. Are they coming to get the Raiders?
Yeah, Taryn Aiken has really imposed herself over recent moments. And this is a huge play against a run of play, opportunistic. Tamaro's been outstanding all afternoon with her boot. This time, just the awareness there from Taryn Aiken, and it gets a perfect bounce. And then it's a foot race.
Yeah, we said earlier, no time given to Zahara is the best amount of time, and Taryn Aiken certainly showed that. These competitive Roosters girls, they want to win this. They've still got 14 and a half minutes to go. And we're seeing the tide turn. Both teams making errors. Roosters capitalising on one from the Raiders. This is going to give them a little bit of energy here, and this is only the second time today that we've seen the Raiders have to defend off the back of conceding points.
And that's heartbreaking for the Raiders. They have done an exceptional job to work their way well in front on the scoreboard, and Taryn Aiken has just put a knife.
The reigning Dally M 5/8 of the year, Taryn Aiken. 5 games for Queensland, an Australian World Cup star. Couple of grand final wins. She brings plenty of experience to the Roosters in that 5/8 role. And here's Jocelyn Kelleher unable to add the extras. It is 18 points to 8.
And you cannot switch off for 1 second against these Roosters. We have got a massive finish to this game coming up. And your Super Saturday continues. The race to the NRL finals is after this for the Raiders and the Newcastle Knights. Next in action, Kalen Ponga, Bradman Best up against Jack Whiten and Big Papa.
They're all watching the NRLW game as they warm up. Look at Corey Horsburgh getting the groin loosened up there. Kurt Mann wants to get close to the screen. But it's a beauty coming up next. Huge implications for the top 8. And the Knights trying to go 4 in a row. The short kickoff from the Raiders. It goes the 10. It breaks the plane. And now Canberra come up with the ball.
It was Frezza. The ball was right in front of her. It only has to break the plane. That's a big win there for the Raiders.
Big win for the Raiders, and Uppy Nichols is back on the field, which is also another win for the Raiders.
Mona Lisa Soliola picked up and carried backwards. What a result.
Strange kickoff.
They needed a kind bounce, didn't they? They got it, and the Roosters didn't play at the ball.
Back to the line, tackle 2.
Just as well, they did get the ball back, the Raiders. They're 18 points to 8 ahead, and they're going for a short kickoff.
Zahara Temera goes to Holly May Dodd.
Stand, Taryn! Hold! Go 3.
Shante Temera. For Taufa, that pass looked questionable, but Kelly Signs continues on with the carry. Temera to Quinlan on the inside, up in Nichols. The defence was waiting. Strong defence as it turned out. Lexi Kilrui making a good shot. Quinlan, Temera across the ground, turning Quinlan or Parker around, and Bridie Parker watches the bounce become a favourable one for the Roosters.
Great vision from Zahara Tamara. There was a 4-on-1 out there. Probably could have gone through their hands. Just a little bit too much pepper on the end of that kick.
Stand right.
A 7-tackle set, and the Roosters looking to try and claw their way back. Still plenty of time left, 11.5 minutes as Frazard up over the 40 now.
Trying to climb their way out of an 18-0 hole. They've scored the last 8 points. And Kelly, how prominent will she be over the back 11 minutes of this game? Davis, play on the call, but Lily Boyle stopped. She must have misheard the referee. He's Aitken again, dummying at the line and taking a good shot. Zahara Temera. The two 5'8s collide along with Holly May Dodd. Now Davis probing. Last play here, the Roosters go to Jocelyn Kelleher. Her kick towards the in goal. Well weighted, work to do at the back. And now the pass. It's grabbed by Robbins Retty, but a forward pass called against RP Nichols.
And clock is on.
Well, they got expansive, the Raiders. Do they realise they're 18 points to 8 in front? Nice little kick, set up beautifully. The chase come through Koenig. And then they got expansive in their own goal. Will they go short again here?
Was it forward? Was it forward?
Oh, very hard to tell. Referee was right on the spot.
It's a fun game, except if you're in the coach's box. Darren Borthwick watching a short goal line drop out. It goes to 10, and no one delays their pickup this time. Keely Davis grabbing it. Boyle the juggle. She goes inside. Millie Boyle. Just short, stopped by Nichols. Aitken. The blowtorch being applied to the Raiders right here.
Try here, be super handy for the Roosters in the fight back.
Davis. Now Kilrui. Lexi stays on the feet for a long time before being chopped down by Kelly Signs. Is it a crash play? Davis out of dummy half has scored. Keely Davis steals one.
Just next to the post.
Yeah, great vision from Keely Davis. She does like to have a little run from dummy half. I'm just going to go back here to the short dropout. I wouldn't say the best option, but the Raiders today, whatever the most risky play is, that's what they're going to run. And more than half the time, it's paid off for them in one way or the other, but not this time. Not to have to defend another defensive effort on their line. They were looking tired. Probably not the best option. They're making this back end of this game really hard for themselves.
Well, Zahara Tamara has been exceptional with the boot, but just some really strange kicks over the last 5 minutes. The first was the kick off, and they got away with that. This time here, the short dropout. They're 18 points to 8 up in this contest. Didn't need to happen. Need to go long and back their defence, which they've done all afternoon. Instead, Keely Davis, she was superb last week, scheming in around dummy half. Comes up with an important try. With a kick to come, you would think the score will be 18 points to 14. And all of a sudden, the Roosters.
From 18-0 down shortly after half-time, it is now 18-14.
And the comeback is well and truly on, Maddie. I can just let you know that the Raiders, Sophie Holdeman, has passed her HIA and she's about to come back into the contest.
Oh, well, that's good news for the Raiders. They've had 2 HIAs, 2 allowed back on, 2 very important players. Hopefully, for the Raiders' sake, it's going to be enough to hold the Roosters out from getting across the line once again. The momentum is surely on the Roosters' favour here.
It's as if they came into the game with a preconceived idea to throw caution to the wind against the highly rated opponents in the first half. We saw some risky spreads to both sidelines that resulted in players being dragged into touch. There's been short kickoffs, short goal line dropouts, and here the ball is knocked forward or backwards. Play on. The ruling from Cameron Paddy.
The crowd are not a fan of that call.
Raiders fans wanted their team to get the ball back. Aitken the shift. Here's Isabel Kelly taking them on and taking the tackle from Tungiai. Back in her wing position now after filling in at fullback.
Nobody seems to want the ball from the Roosters, it seems. Usually, you know, last week we've seen those middles wanting to work hard, wanting to have another run.
Oh, put down through the middle. Short and Burton dropped the ball. The Raiders cut a break.
Yeah, just as I was saying there, Matt, there was no urgency from anyone wanting to take the ball and get it up the other end of the field. This is a fit team. I wouldn't say they're tired. They certainly don't look as tired as they can be. A couple of bit of miscommunication. Now let's see what the Raiders can do off the back of this. There's certainly some frustration here for the competitive Roosters. The tide was turning, but just another error that's going to give the Raiders some great field positioning. Raiders captain Samaima Taufa's gone down with an injury, hopefully something not too bad.
The Dally M lock of the year as John Strange, the Roosters coach, watches on and ponders this last 7.5 minutes. It will be a better 7.5 minutes if Samaima Taufa can't shake this problem.
They seem to need to get a seat big enough for John Strange. His knees are up near his ears.
It's the coach's box here at GIA. They want the joint renovated. Maybe it should start in the coach's boxes. Taufa comes in, wrapping up the ball. There is high-ish contact there on Millie Boyle. He's a big, tall, athletic player. Samaima Taufa getting high in that tackle. And she's right to continue. Shante Temera to Taufa. 10 games for New South Wales, 6 for Australia. What a leader she is, whatever competition she's in. Zahara Temera. And Dodd nearly through the line, was looking for an offload, no one there. The two Temera sisters combined, long. Here's Quinlan, hitting the ball. Mona Lisa Soliola scores the try that should wrap it up for the Raiders. On the charge, Mona Lisa Soliola couldn't be stopped.
Well, it's definitely a name that we've heard between these two teams. Soliola, this time Mona Lisa Soliola for the Canberra Raiders out on the left-hand edge. Once again, the goal line defence from the Roosters couldn't back it up after an error. You see here, they come off their defensive line 1 to 2 metres before start sliding. Can't do that. Soliola, hard run up between two defenders. An important try with 6 minutes remaining. Gets the Raiders out by a converted try, Matty, and what is going to be, or very could be, the biggest upset.
What a servant Sia Soliola was of these two clubs. Well, Mona Lisa is a relation of Sia. Extended family. And Sia will be proud of Mona Lisa and that surge towards the in goal, Sammy.
Yeah, Mona Lisa has become such a great player over the last 2 seasons. I was privileged enough to play with her at the Cronulla Sharks in the Harvey Norman competition. When she came to rugby league, she played a few different positions. She certainly made this second row her own. She's an incredible player, and every game that she plays, she seems to be getting better and better. She's so dangerous, that close to the line.
Zahara Temera adds the extras. 24-14, 5 to play. The Roosters need to get really busy now.
What a retaliation from the Canberra Raiders. We were saying earlier it's going to be interesting how they respond to points being upon them. They haven't had to do that much this game. And this is how they respond. They look so dangerous when Ashley Quinlan and Zahara Temera link up through the middle of the field.
Mona Lisa Soliola played 5 games with the Dragons previously. Shorten Burton came up with that error. Now the short kickoff. The short kickoff has gone test. It's been collected by Frezard.
Stand 7!
It goes the 10, I should say. Frezard with the ball. So still time, but the Roosters need to score quickly to set up the grandstand finish. Keely Joseph back out there, losing her mouth guard in the effort. Boyle. Play the ball. It was a little dodgy. He's allowed to continue. Isabel Kelly. Kelly goes very close. Held by Arpy Nichols. Wrapping up the ball. Parker Long, Aitken. Kelleher. Now Burton. Burton still going and stripped of the ball. Mona Lisa Soliola. Did the Raiders drop off in time? Cameron Paddy says yes.
Oh, wow, I think that was a great run from Isabel Kelly there. She's so strong. She gets so many people off that defensive line trying to stop her in her track. She had 4 people in the tackle there. I think the smarter play would have been to try and shift it on the right side where they lacked numbers.
Well, you need to break that strip down frame by frame to work out who was holding who when the strip came. But it was ruled 1-on-1. So a couple of huge plays from Mona Lisa Soliola. Late in this game, a try and then a strip with the Roosters applying pressure. And they're 3.5 minutes away from an amazing upset. The Canberra Raiders, Tamara says, let's play it at the other end. Her kick goes straight down the ground. Gathered by Baxter. And Corbin comes back into the clutches of Mackenzie Wiki and Holly May Dodd.
In terms of rugby league, we've seen a little bit of everything today. Short kickoffs, strips.
It has been highly entertaining, Sammy. I don't know whether the coaches agree all the time, but it has been, from a viewing perspective, from a neutral's perspective, highly entertaining. And Darren Borthwick taking the Ricky Stewart approach, leaving the coach's box, watching sideline and willing his team on.
That's a part of the coaching contract in Canberra, I think.
Absolutely.
Must leave the box.
Kelleher. And now a penalty goes to the team defending. So they concede in possession here. Obstruction or Shepherd. The call. And we will have a captain's challenge here. Why not? With 2.5 left to play when you're down by 10.
From the Roosters, challenging the on-field decision of an obstruction. Coming in to tackle 4.
So Olivia Kern.
The Roosters, number 7, runs around the lead runner and takes an advantage. The challenge is unsuccessful.
Challenge is unsuccessful. Penalty for obstruction.
Worth a shot with 2.5 minutes to go.
A bit like Usman Khawaja in the cricket last night. I know I'm plumb, but I just want you to prove it. I know it's an obstruction, but we can't take our captain's challenge with us. So Zahara Temera finds the sideline again. She's been fantastic, Zahara Temera.
She has. For a woman that doesn't say too much, you can see how much this means to her in her actions. She's ultra competitive, a win-at-all-cost sort of person. Been instrumental for the Canberra Raiders today.
Soliola, likewise. The players to run for more than 100 metres in this game for the Raiders. Fullback Arpy Nichols. Robbins Retty in the centres. Holly May Dodd, edge forward. Grace Kemp off the bench. This is Kelly Signs to play the ball. Temara. Now Arpy Nichols, quick hands. And Wiki shut down, racing up. Bridie Parker.
Great defence by Bridie.
What a performance to take forward the Canberra Raiders. Shante Temera through her sister. A long ball out for Shael Robbins-Retty. Good tackle, Jamie Frezard. But it's been a better afternoon for Robbins-Retty. She'll lead the game with run meters. The left centre for Canberra. Up towards 170 now. Frezard and her team will have to regroup, consolidate. I wouldn't like to be playing them next week, Sammy.
No, certainly not. I was literally just thinking about that, Matt. These games are better to be had earlier in the season. Ground you a little bit, motivate you a bit. They're going to be dangerous off the back of this one.
Samoa, get up! He's 10. Hold!
Now the chip chase from Taryn Aitken. She's already scored 1 try. Now Nichols knocking the ball on. And the penalty goes to the Roosters, who will have 20 seconds to do something with it.
Yeah, right idea to attack the ball from Appy Nichols, though. If she didn't attack the ball and waited for a bounce there, Taryn Aitken was through.
Baxter through the middle. So Maima Taufa, the tackler again. Taufa makes her 43rd tackle for the game. Now Temura and Wiki. The dying seconds of this one. Aitken has the ball. She grubbers into the legs of the Raiders, but Canberra mark their territory in style. It's a big win. It's an amazing upset, and the expressions will tell the story against the competition favourites, against the defending minor premiers. The Raiders have stunned the Roosters 24-14.